All right, so today we're going to graph lines. We've been graphing lines. So far, we have graphed lines using a t-chart, where you graphed a bunch of x and y points, you got a bunch of points, you connected them, boom, you had a line. We've graphed using the x and the y-intercept. So we found the x-intercept, x comma 0. We found the y-intercept, 0 comma y, and we drew lines. Today we're going to do it using slope-intercept form. So slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. And so that linear equation is written in slope-intercept form. See, it says it right in the title, but I'm going to rewrite it so that you know to write that down. So you're writing down in your notes, slope-intercept form. You write this, y equals mx plus b. The slope of the line is m. The y-intercept of the line is b, where it crosses the y-axis. So remember, y-intercepts are written as points. So when you just see b, for example here, that's your slope. This is your y-intercept. So your y-intercept is the point 0 comma -6. This is where you begin graphing. So we're going to write the following in slope-intercept form. So that means what you do when you hear this. So here's what your little ear is hearing. Hear this. We're going to draw a little ear on top of it. There's your little ear. When you hear that, what that means is get the y alone. Write that in your little book, slope-intercept form. Get the y alone. So not really sure why there's a plus over here, so ignore that little +5. We want to get the y alone, so we're going to subtract 2x on both sides. The 2x and the -2x cancel. You have y. Bring down the equal sign. You're going to sneak the -2x in front and then a +5. The reason we sneak it in front is this is in slope-intercept form. So your slope is -2 and your y-intercept, lovingly known as b, is the point 0, 5. So look at 2 or b. Is it in slope-intercept form? It's pretty darn close, except these two are backwards, aren't they? But they're on the same side of the equal sign. So you're going to leave the y, you're going to leave the equal, and you're just going to rewrite -1/3 x plus 4. What you have to pay attention to is the 1/3 x is negative, so it stays negative. The 4 is positive, so it has a positive 4. So what's your slope? It's right here, -1/3. What's your y-intercept? It's right here, 0, 4. For number C, it's in slope-intercept form because there's no slope. The slope is 0. So you could write y equals 0x minus 5. I'd be honest, I wouldn't do that. I would just leave it y equals -5. But the reason you would write the 0x is because there is no x, so you're going to write it. But that tells you your slope is 0, which tells you it's a special horizontal line, horizontal. And it tells you that your y-intercept is the point 0, -5. It's going to be important in a minute. All right, so to graph this, you're going to plot the point on the y-axis at the b value. That's going to be 0, b. So let's start that. Let's look here. This is m. M is -2. I'm going to turn it into a point or to a fraction, and we'll find out why in just a second. Ooh, anticipation! And then right here is your y-intercept, and it's the point 0, 5. So we're going to graph 0, 5 first. Oh my gosh, it's on the y-axis. Surprise, surprise, surprise. That's the y-intercept. Then it says apply m to find the next points. Now m, see how it's written up and down? If it's written up and down, that means you go up or down first. Since -2 is negative, you go down 2 and then 1 is positive, so you go to the right one. So you go down 2, right 1, there's your next point. Down 2, right 1, there's your next point. Down 2, right 1, there's your next point. And then you're going to connect those points, and it's a line, so it has arrows at the end, bada bing, bada boom. I'm going to erase these things because they really aren't part of your line. They were just directions to get there. That's what the slope is. It tells you how far up or down and then how far left or right. So on this one, we've got to first identify, there's our slope. Our slope is 3 over 4. 3 is positive, so we're going to go up 3. 4 is positive, we're going to go right 4. Our y-intercept is 0, negative 2. This is where we begin. So 0, negative 2 is on the y-axis right there. Slope of 3 over 4 means go up 1, 2, 3, go right 1, 2, 3, 4. There's your next dot. Now here's a fun fact. Instead of going up 3 and right 4, I can switch up to down and I can switch right to left. So from the original point, instead of going up 3, I'm going to go down 3 and then left 4, and that gives me a third point so I can draw a better line. Always good to have 3 points. Need 2, better to have 3. What is wrong with C? Oh my gosh, it's not in slope-intercept form. So you have to get the y alone. So we're going to subtract 5x from both sides. 5x minus 5x leaves me with 2y. Remember, sneak the negative 5x in front. And then we're going to divide by 2. So I'm going to have y equals negative 5 halves x plus 5. Once the y is alone, my slope is the coefficient of x. It's telling me to go down 5, right 2. My y-intercept is my b, 0, 5. So you're going to begin on the y-axis at 0, 5. You're going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and right 1, 2. There's your next point. Down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and right 2. There's your next point. Connect those little puppies, and look at that. You've got a beautiful line. Okay, C, once again, y is not alone. So I'm going to subtract 5x from both sides. Boom, boom. So now I have 2y equals negative 5x plus 10. This is the same problem. I feel like this is the same problem. I can't back up, so we're just going to do it again. Divide by 2. Y is going to equal negative 5 halves x plus 5. Right there's your slope. Negative 5 over 2, down 5, right 2. Right there is your y-intercept. We're going to begin at 0, 5. We're going to do this kind of fast because I'm pretty doggone sure we just did this problem. Down 5, right 2. Down 5, right 2. Yep, we did. But doesn't it look good? Look, we did it right twice. So on D, we have to get the y alone. So we're going to add 6 to both sides. Make sure when you add the 6, you add it to this number because it doesn't have an x. You want to combine it with the term that it's the same type of term. So what you have left over is 4y. You have 8x here minus 6. We're going to divide by 4. We have to divide every single one by 4. We get y equals 2x minus 3 halves. Not my favorite problem. My slope is 2 over 1. Up 2, right 1. My y-intercept is why I don't really like this problem. I'm going to begin graphing at the point 0, negative 3 halves. That's 0, negative 1 1/2. So you go down negative 1 and go about halfway between 1 and 2. We're going to go up 2, so that's up halfway, right 2. Up halfway, right 2. So it's kind of a weird problem. But fractions exist in this world, so we need to learn how to graph them. Checkpoint 1, your turn. Graph using the slope, m, and the y-intercept, 0, b. Remember, your first hint is you must get the y alone if it's not already alone. So go ahead and do this in your notebook. You don't have graph paper, so you can just draw an x and y axis if you don't have graph paper, and just kind of draw some little, it'll all work out. Pause it, do them, see you in a sec. Okay, now we're going to write an equation in slope-intercept form for each function. So the first thing we need to find the slope, and we need to find the y-intercept. Our equation is y equals mx plus b. I'm going to change those colors. I'm going to change m to that little mustard color. Don't really know why I started with that. Plus b to that little burnt orange color. So my slope, I'm going to read from one point, here's a good point right here, up to the next good point. So I'm kind of traveling along my line. That's not a really good point. It would be a fraction. This one right here, that's my next good point. So I'm going to start at the left. So from this point, I go up 1, 2, up 2, that's positive. Then I go right 1 is positive. So I'm going to go back in here. I'm going to have y equals, I'm going to leave a space, and I'm going to fill in 2 because that's my slope. Now my b is my y-intercept. That's this point right here. It's the point 0, 1. But when I go up here, I only put plus 1. You put the y value of the intercept. That is your equation. So the next one, I'm going to start with y equals, and I'm going to put the x. My slope, here's a good point, right? That's a good point. Go down, just kind of follow along. Here's the next good point. So from left to right, I went down 1, that's negative 1. And then I went right 1, which is positive 1. So my slope is negative 1 over 1. Let me change that then. I'm not going to put the whole negative 1 over 1 in there. I'm just going to put negative 1. B, find where the line crosses the y-intercept. It's at the point 0, 0. So my y-intercept is 0, 0. I'm going to write the y value of that. So I would put plus 0. Pretty sure that most of the time you would just see y equals negative x on that because the 1's pretty hidden and the plus 0 is pretty hidden. So now we have these special lines, constant equations. You're going to have either y equals b or you're going to have x equals b. So what you're not going to have is y equals mx plus b. You're not going to have an m. You're going to have a b, which is going to be your intercept, but it's not always your y-intercept. It's kind of confusing. So if you just have y equals negative 2, that means y is negative 2. Here's where y is negative 2. Guess what? Y is negative 2 here and here and here and here and here. It's a horizontal line where all the y's are negative 2. So it is a function because it passes the vertical line test. The graph is a horizontal line. Now what I like to notice is what axis does that graph goes through? It only has a y-intercept and doesn't go through the x-axis at all. And the only variable in the equation is just y. The points on that equation are going to be like 0, negative 2, 1, negative 2, 2, negative 2. If you notice, all the y's are negative 2. For this one, I'm going to go to where x is negative 2. This is 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 where x is negative 2. It's going to be a, whoa, that's horrible. It's going to be a vertical line where all the x's are negative 2. It only goes through the x-axis. It only has an x-intercept. The points are like negative 2, 0, negative 2, 1, negative 2, 2. All the x's are negative 2. This is not a function. It fails the vertical line test, but the graph is a vertical line. Okay, and a way to help remember that is this little Hoy-Vux graphic. So if this is what you write on your paper, Hoy, or you write Vux. You can write the whole thing if you want to write the whole thing down. Hoy means the line is horizontal, the slope is 0, and the equation is going to be y equals some number. That should have all been purple. Goober Jackie. Whoops, Jackie, I should have said Mrs. Evans. Oh my gosh, where is my head? Going down, the V stands for the line is vertical, the U stands for the slope is undefined or no slope, and the X stands for the equation is X equals. So if you have an equation, X equals 4, here's what goes on in my head. Here's my head. I think Hoy-Vux. It's got an X, so it's a Vux. The slope is undefined, the line is vertical, the equation is X equals. We're going to do some more Hoy-Vuxes in class. So graph each constant equation, state whether it's a function or not. So this is y, so in my head I'm going Hoy. The y of the Hoy tells me it's y equals, got that right there. The h tells me it's a horizontal line. Where y is 4. Up here's where y is 4. So I'm going to go to where y is 4 and I'm going to draw a horizontal line. It is a function. All horizontal lines are functions, okay? Remember if I wanted this point right here, that's 0, 4. This point right here, 1, 4, 2, 4, 3, 4, negative 1, 4, negative 2, 4. All the y's are 4. X equals negative 6. X reminds me of Vux, which tells me the equation is x equals, got it, and it's a vertical line. So I'm going to go over here to where x is negative 6, and I'm going to draw a vertical line. It is not a function. It fails the vertical line test, and it is just a vertical line. Look again. X equals, it only goes through the x-axis. Y equals, it only goes through the y-axis. Y equals 0, going back to green because it's y. That reminds me of hoy. The y is where I got that. H tells me it's a horizontal line. Here's where y is 0. Horizontal goes across like the horizon. It is a function. All horizontal lines are functions. All verticals are not. Okay, graph these two functions. And that is the end of the thing. After you're done with this checkpoint, we haven't had anything. Hoivux. Hoivux is going to be your secret word this time. It's not a word, it's a phrase. And when you write it, you're going to write hoy and vux. But you got to tell me what that means too. Tell me what each part of it means. Oh my gosh, that's a huge horizontal or secret word. Okay, have a great day. Talk to you later. See ya.